Hi, I'm Brendan and welcome to Personality Epistemology. So in this video, I want to talk about a situation type which I'm dealing with now, and I think many people are experiencing this. So I got paid today, and then I have to go through and pay these various immediately needed payments, and it adds up to below zero, and I cannot borrow money. I cannot borrow any more money, and this is just getting worse and worse. And then, so what do I and we collectively, as people, as I mean, for example, in America or wherever one is, what's going to happen? Like, how can the growing debt and like hitting the limits of the current financial work education model, I mean, like, what next? And then from the macro, zooming back to my own decision making, how am I navigating this, and so on. So this is a situation that, I mean, without sharing all the details, because in part because it's just complicated, this type of what I call financial triage pressure, like having to make decisions where, like, people I'm supporting are going to be enduring worse torture and hardship and possibly death if I cannot pay, and there's nowhere to turn. And modern culture has this widespread thing of, if one is in debt or has financial problems, not taking people seriously. And then I'm starting from zero on YouTube, basically, and I have a relatively small network of people who, most of whom are distancing from me because I'm trying to keep people alive and coordinate and figure out how to transform these problems, macro and micro and in between. So I'm seeking collaborators who actually care about being conscious and aware of things, stepping back from hating and blaming for things that are historical and global complexities that can't be put on one person. And let's figure out how to transform the world for better, starting with some specific situations. So, I mean, I'm praying, and I'm also not depending on prayers to be answered. And then as soon as I mention praying, it's like half of people will be like, I'm not watching this. So, okay, so mostly how I sort of conceptualize and orient myself is with lyrics, so maybe that could be more welcoming, and a range of sources of insights. So I want to show, okay, so there's a layout behind me, or I mean around me, you could say. It's not behind me in the video, but around me on the screen, that I could step through. But basically it's boundary turbulence and paradigm change in education, professions, and politics. And I noticed quite a few videos on YouTube recently name and give answers to a lot of problems, including, I don't even know where to begin. So, but Ray Dalio's Principles for Success is really good. And on one side of this image, I have reference to 3 songs about the world on fire, or the fire, and this clip from Kevin Smith's Dogma, which is titled, on YouTube anyway, Asking God Why All This Humans, and the line from the Lord's Prayer, lead us not into temptation but deliver us from evil. So, and how to ask for help. So, and then above me I have a photo of myself as a baby or toddler or somewhere in there, and above that, how we got here, Like, I was born in the early 80s in 1980, and there's some kind of multi-generational complexity with all of this. Like, that's a whole topic I want to talk about. And I have born in a theater up there, and so essentially Earth can be, and humanity in the current times, can be seen as a theater spanning, I mean, you can look at all of history, but I mean, the world of people, the world and memory and actions of people who are alive today, for the most part, are this post-World War II baby boomer through Generation Alpha world of people. So, and then there are some people who are older than that, and the story goes back further as well, of course. So, and then I have these Simpsons Treehouse of Horror clips from Simpsons Theory show within a show. So I want to show, this is one of my hand-drawn small layouts. So here I have human history, and then I have written here jigsaw puzzle plot, setting Earth, and Robert McKee, the deeper truth of a story is the how and the why beyond the surface facts and experiences, and causes that be moving, and then I have moving from blame to accountability from the Systems Thinker website, and then I have greater scope villain or villains and greater scope paragon, which is the opposite of a villain. So, I mean, on some level that would mean potentially God, or depending on how people view God and stuff, or helpers in a hero's journey sense. So I have this Judith Herman quote: "Survivors of every age and every culture come to a point in their testimony where all questions are reduced to one, spoken more in bewilderment than outrage. Why? And also, why me?" And then I have a lyric from Tijan Nightmares: "Why me? Because it's you they put their faith in, and you see they shape this games in." And that's available on YouTube. And then related to that Robert McKee quote, I drew this thing connecting to cash flow. And this quote, which is meant to be a little bit of a joke: Alanis Morissette, the glue that holds your pieces together. So, but that is actually how money functions for a lot of people. So, like psychologically. So, and then Kevin Smith, that's the dogma thing over there, but and his recent thing on trauma, on YouTube. So, but I have this Ken Robinson quote: "When we were in school, we were kept there with a story. Our kids don't believe that anymore. They were right not to, by the way." And that's my thing. And then I have high hopes, and so on. So, yeah, so I guess I could be more specific. It's the INTJ thing of, or the intuition, introverted intuition, or whatever. I'm focusing more on the concepts. So, and the references. So, I guess I'm gonna wrap this video up soon, and it's complicated because I need to build audience from nearly zero up, and then I'm making videos that many people are going to find hard to follow and not working like usual YouTube videos. But I'm hoping the INTJ and ADHD tags on this will find some people who can think somewhere along my lines. So then I have this question from 2012 of me saying this question of responsibility and what's going to happen. And I meant that somewhat in the world at large, a little bit with the situation I was in at the time, but that pales in comparison to what's going on now. And I have this Atlas of Interpersonal Situations thing, this reference to quick to dis society, a lyric from Arrested Development, Mr. Wendell, which is on YouTube, song. And it's like distraction, dissociation, and disavowal. And then dis, of course, it means to like insult or put down. But and then I have this thing here, a run on my time. And here I have making sense of your past, and then I have this thing, tangle, triangle, which is a sort of some kind of joke, but I don't know, it's wordplay with some things, and the power of trust, the power of love, and so on. So, and then I have Dante's Dark Wood of Error, and a reference to this wall of awful from ADHD. I found out how to ADHD, and then danger, tyranny, terror, wrong, how to ask for help. So I believe people shouldn't be dying from lack of money, but that's what's happening. And this is especially concerning when there's inflation and many people cannot deal with or are choosing not to work, and the current job, because the current jobs are constructed in problematic ways, and the current education is constructed in problematic ways. So I have, it's like why we do narrative and autoethnographic research, and those are videos on YouTube. You can see my playlist, I'll put in the description, with a bunch of related things. And The Machine is Changing Us, YouTube and the Politics of Authenticity. You can see, and then I have this whole thing from Ken Robinson's Changing Education Paradigms. It's like the story of hard work, do well, college and job, and then the authorities saying stupid boy, and when you ask what's the point, that whole theme. Mathematics and juggling, kitchen nightmares and all this stuff, and the Supreme Court and Constitution, The Wire, the series The Wire, and all these things, Lauryn Hill, Everything is Everything. So, I mean, I have all these like layout bits, and then Ray Dalio, How to Improve the Economy, you create higher education, and so on. They're very clear indicators of what makes living conditions better. So, as a child of academics and so on, I'm like, my parents were deeply ignorant of a lot of stuff, like how to understand me as a young person beyond a certain degree, like how my mind works and how I need it different than school. And then this continues for most young people in the world who are not super school compatible. Well, the economy collapses or gets messed up, or it's going to be a recession, or whatever people call it. Like the reality of navigating the current jobs and work situation is tangled and haywire in many contexts. So that gets to transformative learning to solve the impossible, and edge emotions and intuition, and expanding the limitations of our rational abilities and all this stuff. And I'm going to leave it here. Comments, questions, preferences, requests, welcome more soon.